So here is my little Too Many Bones video for you to kind of explain the game, hopefully better than they do in all those other videos. Here's all the gear locks that you can get if you have everything. And they don't come in these nice chip trays. That comes with the Trove chest, which you have to buy separately. But definitely worth it though. But when you buy the little gear locks, they come with their chips and their dice in these trays here. But anyways, so I'll kind of show you real quick how the gear locks work. So Tank's one of my favorite because he has bots. So there's his player chip, and then his 3 bot chips, like a level 1, 2, and 3. And then here's his dice. So as you can see, each one has their own set of dice, which makes this game seem like, oh my god, it's so hard, there's so much, because every single dice is different, like for every character. But it's actually not as bad as you think. So everyone has, well, except for these 4, everybody has these 4. Some of them vary a little bit, most all of them say 1 through 6. And so these are your starting stats, and as you get skill points in the game, you can spend them to upgrade your health. So 4. So Tink starts out with 3 health initially, but if you upgrade it to 4, then his base health is now 4. Dexterity is how many dice you can roll each turn. So he can start out with 4, but some others, like Pickett, only gets 2. But, so everyone has their kind of own little stats. He doesn't have a lot of attack or defense, and so, because he has his bots, but I usually upgrade this a couple each so he can get in the fight a little bit. But kind of how this little mount works is really cool. So I'll explain the initiative die in a minute, but so say here, some of these dice start, if they have a little star in it, or if it has the innate word, sorry, if it has the innate keyword, the dice starts the game in those ones. So everyone has like 1 or 2 innates where the dice are just starting right in there. So, and the cool thing about his is, so he's got these little bots that he can spawn onto the board, and this little thing here has, arrows pointing in all directions, and each one like points to a different, so you roll this when it's your turn, and so okay, this arrow you can orient it any way you want, but when you roll this one, you can pick one of these 4 if you have it unlocked, or if you roll like this one, you can pick the 2 corners. So basically it kind of randomizes what upgrades you can put on the bot. They have an upgraded die that you can unlock that, if you upgrade this die, you switch it out with this one. I'm sorry, it's not in the screen, I'm not the best. But so now it has a dark arrow, so he can equip all of these if he's able. Well, level 1 bot can only equip 2 upgrades at once, and I think the max is 3. Yeah, so max is 1 bot can hold 3 upgrade dice, but each one does something different. The firing arm lets him attack 2 damage at range. They have the 5th leg. I think this one lets him jump to anywhere on the map. This one lets him take damage. This one take damage from away from someone else who's getting it. It's kind of like a defender. This one increases the damage he can take. This one is like a melee attack one. This one gives him more battery power because each bot has a bot die, and they start on a certain. So the number 1 starts at 1, so he gets 1, and then he goes down to 0, and he's dead in the water. So you have to increase his battery power to keep him on the board. So it looks confusing, but it's really, really simple when you get to it. But that's kind of the gist of it. And then he's got other ones, like these 2 are more for Tink, that this lets him hide a little easier. This is an attack, I believe. These are, the yellow ones are consumables, so as you use them, you lose them. Usually you get these from loot cards or kind of some other ways, like the 3.0 Spider Bot. If you get one that says draw one of your consumable die, you can put Spider Bot 3.0 in there, and Spider Bot 3.0 is really powerful. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, and your bots all have health, and they have the health listed on the ship with just the normal attack that they do. So every turn they do that attack no matter what, a melee attack. So all this stuff is kind of just bonus. So I really like Tank. He's really fun to play. He's kind of hard if you haven't played before, but he's so much fun. You got Boomer here. Boomer's awesome. So she has a grenade die, and you get all these dice across the top to start with, and you can roll them each turn. And if if you get one of each of these you can add one to your bomb counter. And then this one, these are your grenades. So it takes a little bit to build up your grenades, but when you throw a grenade, you take your counter down by 1. But these grenades are pretty powerful. One will like do 1 or 2 damage to everything on the board. One explodes and does a lot of damage to the main guy, and then one like half damage to everything around it. So it can be really, this one's really, really fun. Like, I've wiped out a whole table before by saving up, and if you like combine the Holy Hand Grenade with some of these other ones, you can like do like a 4 or 5 damage attack to every enemy on the board and just clear the table in one shot. But it's kind of hard to get that all lined up properly. Nugget is kind of a basic one. She's really good at like finding loot and kind of putting some debuffs on the enemy. I haven't played this one yet. I've got it, but I haven't played it. But this one's kind of cool. So let's grab one of these dice. So when you put her skill dice in here, and it's time to flip her over to her danger side, the dice actually stays in. And you flip it over, and then you get special effects, because this looks like the battle board. So if you got certain dice on here, you can do certain things if any enemies are in those positions. I haven't played it yet, really, so I don't know exactly how it works, but really cool. He's a defender, but his defense abilities are really cool. He can save up and like do these shield bashes that do a lot of damage. He's really fun, and he's really, really easy to for new players to learn. And then you have Stanza. She plays music, and man, I thought this one would be kind of stupid because she plays her little guitar and she can play different ballads and they do different things, but it's so much, like, it's really fun. Like, one of them can take control of an enemy and have them attack another enemy. Some of them can disorient. This one's a lot of fun to play. Tantrum's the one I told you about. He's the one that has these rage dice. You can upgrade him to do more rage, but the more rage he does, he gets to do like these big powerful attacks. So that's really, he's funny. Patches is just kind of a healer, but he can put debuffs and other things on enemies. Gilly is another one. He's kind of like Tink. He has pets, but they're actually like animals, and he's really good at doing damage and like debuffing enemies and then sending his pets in to finish them off. Gasket's really cool. He starts out with 1 health, and he's not an actual Gearlock. He's like this Steambot thing, I think, and you gotta like you gotta manage his resources, but his dice never exhaust. You can keep reusing them, but they exhaust his Steambot power stuff, so you gotta manage that properly. But he's really, really fun to play. Duster is one of my favorites. It's him, and she's got a wolf companion that's always on there, and and she's really good at stealth and doing damage, and she can spawn anywhere on the board. And I haven't played these ones yet either, but they're considered 1 Gearlock, and you kind of like wrestling, where you tag in and out. So like you can like tag this one out and bring Flan in, and they only have a few dice each, but each one does its own little thing very well. So you kind of, yeah. So anyways, that's them. So as you can see, every single one does something different. now I will show you this. So this is the battle mat. So you'll take, so we'll just say he's on here, and so you put his health chips with him on top, and they have different starting positions based off their melee or ranged. And then you take your baddies when you draw them, so he gets 6 health chips under him, so you stack up 6 health chips, and he'd go wherever, you know, wherever you draw him on whatever color. And then you have your initiative dice that I told you about, which are these. You roll those and you put them in here, because each enemy has their own initiative, and the higher goes first. So 6 would go first, 1 would go last. And you roll, the Gearlocks roll theirs, and that's where they put them. And so say if the Gearlocks rolled the 5, then they would go in front, and they would get to activate first, which is very important. And then, yeah, so every turn you're like, you have all your activation dice over here, and you slide one over, they activate, and you slide the next one over, they activate. And then when round 2 comes, you slide them all back, and so you just go until you kill everything, and you can just move around the board and do your attacks. I mean, it'll take a while to explain it all, but it's pretty easy once you get it. It's mostly just rolling your attack dice, your skill dice, or defensive dice. So, and another cool thing about this game is on the mats up here they have your bones. So all the dice, all dice will have these bone symbol, which, you know, it's a miss, but when you miss, you can take your bones and you put them up here, and you can kind of build them up, and the more you build up, the more powerful things they do. Like some of them, like if you get all the way up at the end, it'll do like 5 damage to one enemy, or to like heal you, or it'll let you draw loot cards, or all sorts of different things. Each one has their own little bones row. So yeah, and then these are for locked, like active dice that are kind of persistent. You put them here, and some dice are locked dice, which means that they don't get thrown away, like when certain enemy abilities discard your save dice. So, and like I said, it looks more complicated than it really is, but each character has one of these. So like say we're going to play, like usually I play with 2 of them by myself if I'm playing, and I'll just play 2 separate ones together, but you can play 1 by themselves. And so it kind of goes like if you're a beginner, what you should focus on, their innate skills, which is pretty easy. This is their bones. So Dart, she recovers an HP. I don't know Dart very well, so let me pick a different one. Okay, so Tink lets him heal one of his bots. This one lets him reset his battery power on one of his bots. This one self-destructs one of his bots. This one, he can hit an adjacent baddie for 3, or heal a bot for 3. At 5, he can call in his Spider Bot 3.0, and if you get 6 of them, you upgrade to an 8+1, which basically just gives you a bigger benefit. And then on the front, it has all their dice. So each dice, all 16 of them, has all the faces, and over here it tells you what each symbol does. And literally after 1 game of playing, you've got an idea of what each dice does, because it's really not too difficult to figure it out. Like the picture a lot of times sums up what you're doing on the dice, so it's really not that bad. So after a game or 2, you don't really use this a lot, because you're not getting all 16 dice at once, so you're only doing like, you know, so many dice. Sometimes you focus a lot on your attack dice, you don't have as many skill dice, but other times you don't have many attack dice, but you got a whole bunch of skill dice. So it just depends on how you want to play, but I can't express enough how awesome this game is. It's so much fun. And then, oh, you have here, this is like when you play, so every time you do a mission, you move this up by 1, and some of them go like 10 spaces away, some go 8, this one goes 6, and it's based on the baddie you're fighting. So he is a 6-point baddie, so you'll put him on the 6-point spot. And you have 8 days to kill him. So basically, every time you do an encounter is 1 day. So you can fail 2 encounters and still have enough time to go beat the boss. So you can still fail. And then, okay, Okay, last thing. Oh, and then you got your dice, and your defense dice, and your attack dice, and your effect dice. These are the initiative dice that let the baddies go in whatever turn. These are really cool. These are your lock picking dice. So every time you try and pick a lock on the Trove loot, which is like the awesome upgraded loot, you can't just get the loot. It's locked, and you have to unlock it. And at the end of every day, you can attempt to unlock it. And you roll these 3 dice, or these 4 dice, and you're basically unlocking the Trove loot card, which is really cool. Let me show you. So I need one lever, 4 trip, and 3 force. And then you got to get that on these. And you can sometimes do it all at once. Other times it'll take a few turns. But when you unlock it, you get a really cool card. So on this one, on your turn, you may choose a target after rolling your dice, which that's pretty good. Because you normally have to pick a target before, but sometimes you could roll your dice and you're like, well, crap. I just rolled 10 damage. I should have gone for this big health guy. So yeah, that one would be good for situations like that. Some of them just, yeah, they're awesome. Oh, geez, man, I forgot about this. Okay, so this is for the campaign mode. If you buy the campaign Age of Tyranny expansion, after you do a whole mission, you put the tyrant you killed and whatever your health was, and it's a campaign, so your characters keep most of their stuff from mission to mission, and you go on killing a bunch. I think you kill 7 different tyrants for the campaign. That's pretty cool. And then this one is from their splicing dice. So basically, this makes it unlimited replay value. So I think right now they have 19 different tyrants that come in their own little, each individual thing. So each tyrant has his own dice, his own chip, and his own cards. But this one, you can play ones where as you play through the whole mission, multiple days, you're building a tyrant by placing dice and skills from each mission in there. So you're trying to plan out how you kill the enemies on the battle mat, because it'll make your tyrant more or less strong based on which ones you kill in which order and certain different things. But then they also have a mini game mode where all it is, you don't play the other game at all. You just use these 2 mats and you're building a tyrant with a whole deck of their own cards. And it's almost like a complete separate mini game that came with it. But then once you're done building your tyrant, you can save it on these little tyrant sheets. Like I built one. Oh, a really nasty one. Yeah, he's really bad. But you can save them and then actually go fight them later in the main game. So that's really cool. And then like a butt ton of loot cards. And those are just normal loot that you get to draw a lot. Then you have your Trove loot cards. And then you have these are your whoops. So these are your encounter cards. You got like a freaking ridiculous amount if you have some of the expansions. But you shuffle these, and when you have like an 8-day encounter, you draw 6 of these, and out of like a deck of like 50 of them. So you shuffle, draw 6, so you're always getting different ones, and it has a little story on the front, and then on the back you can pick. Sometimes you don't battle, you just like, sometimes you play a little mini game. Other times, if it has little shield and swords, you actually go do a battle. And then down at the bottom, the 1 lets you advance. That's 1 point towards getting to the baddie. So you move 1 space, and then you get 2 skill points. So you can get 2 skill dice, and everyone gets a loot card. So some of those, and then you can lock these special ones that you can do these special encounters that either bring really bad baddies, or sometimes there's one called the Ebonite Doorway that like gives you this massive amount of skill points and loot, and basically it's just easy mode, but it's really fun to get it. And then here is all the different baddies you can get, from 1 point baddies, because as you move on, you fight different levels of baddies based on what day. So 1 point's really easy, 5 points are harder, 20 point baddies are really hard. And then you have your bosses that you fight on the last day. So yeah. And then you got like, you know, like for the campaign mode and the splice and dice mode, and this game has got so much, but it's really not that bad to learn. It's really actually not bad. If you play games at all, you'll pick it up pretty quick. So I can't recommend this one enough. I will make a Cloudspire one next. I gotta put all this away now. But yeah, I definitely recommend getting the Trove box, because it gives you all these little baddie trays to store all your baddies, and these really nice wood things, and it fits right inside of Calyx, the square. And then it comes with these little, like ridiculously overproduced nice chip trays, like the thing, and you know, then when you take this off, apparently you flip it over, and like, that's supposed to fit right in there like that. And you can just have that sitting on the table next to you. It's insane. These guys overproduce everything they do, but in a good way. So, anyways, yeah, dude, I can't recommend this game enough. I think you would love it. So, anyways, let me know if you have any other questions, because I skipped over a lot of like the little things just to get through this faster. So, anyways, let me know.